Well, good morning and welcome back to Apron Strings. Y'all, it's still cold in Texas. It's still in the 30s outside this morning and got down in the low 20s last night, but I got a roaring fire in the fireplace and my house is warm and I'm blessed. I'll just be glad when it's all over. And I got up this morning thinking, what can I cook? And I really wanted beef tips and rice, but I usually make it out of a chuck roast. Well, if I cut a whole chuck roast up to make beef tips, I'd have way too much. So I remembered I had some steaks that I had vacuum sealed, actually for Troy. And vacuum sealing them, they'll keep for several years in the freezer because I proved it. So I went out there and got a steak, and my goodness, it was a big one. And I'm going to season these beef tips that I cut up and get them seared off in the skillet, and then I'm going to bake them in my covered baker in my oven for a while until they get tender. So I just thought I'd bring y'all along for the seasoning and the fixing and the getting them in the oven. So let me get my seasoning. Of course, 3 gases, and y'all know what I'm using: salt and pepper, onion and garlic powder. That's the what I use. This is onion powder, and I'm just sprinkling it on, and then I'm going to toss them to try to get it all over everything. And garlic. I hope you can see. I think you can. And salt. And I had bought me a little 2-cup rice maker at Home Goods because I have my big zozarushi that it takes an hour to cook in it, and it's for when the family's here and I make 8 or 10 cups of rice. So I got this little darling, and I'm going to tell you what, I love it. I've got 2 cups of rice cooked and ready for me when I get my beef tips and gravy ready. So okay, I've got my seasoning so far. I'm just going to toss it, but there's some moisture under here, and it may absorb my flavor, so I'm going to put a little bit more on. Let me rinse my hands. And then once I sear this in the meat, the flavor's going to be wonderful. Now you can do this and use this meat to make stew or soup. A lot of different uses for it. But I'm just going to brown them, make a brown gravy, put them in the oven until they're tender. And I'm going to serve them over my rice that I've cooked. And when I fixed that rice, I added a package of onion soup mix, which that's getting to where that's one of my go-tos. It just adds such a depth of flavor. Okay, let me get some flour to toss these in, get my skillet on where I can brown them. Let's see what I can do here. Just tossing them around. Have any of y'all ever had gout? And what was your long-term thing for it? My grandson's got it. Troy had it. So, Anna was telling me that she drinks black cherry juice and it helps. I just wondered if anybody else had any home remedies that they would share in the comments. I know it's painful because my Troy was tough. One time he had it so bad we went for one of his appointments when he was trying to get into the heart transplant program. He was determined to walk. Well, he got just a little ways and he turned around and he said, "Girl, you're going to have to find a wheelchair." So I pushed him up the ramps and down the ramps and all around till we got through with that appointment, and he hated every minute of it because he didn't want that. But I knew it was bad for Troy to ask for help. So I wish that it would go away and never come back. But we're going to try the cherry juice. But do any of y'all have any other home remedies that you try for it? I got gunky hands. I'm going to rinse them off, and then when I come back, the grease gets hot. I'm using oil, cooking oil. We will brown these off and get them in the covered baker, and I'm going to cut up some onion and bell pepper to go in there with it, and then I'm going to have a good lunch here after a while. You want your oil to be really hot because otherwise it'll just simmer the flour off instead of browning it for you. So I put one in there, and as you can see, it's not sizzling very much. It's not quite hot enough. So I'll be back just in a minute when it gets a little bit hotter and ready to put the rest of the meat chunks in. Okay, that one is going pretty good, so I'm going to get some more of them in there. Okay, I got the rest of them in here. When I was growing up, Mama would buy round steak because back then that was a very cheap cut of meat. And she would make beef tips with it. And oh my goodness, we absolutely couldn't wait for the day that we got to have beef tips. I'm just going to brown these, and I'm going to turn them. Look here, Anna, I'm going to use one of my treasures you sent me, because I just want them browned on each side. Let's see who's invading our privacy. Well, just as I expected, it was spam. Something about Medicare. One side is brown. It be long till I'll have these in the oven. My oven has reached 350, and I'm going to bake them probably about an hour. I want them to be fall apart tender. Okay, I'm just picking them up and pitching them over in the baker. Okay, I probably should pour some of this oil off, but I'm just going to go ahead. Yeah, I think I will. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to use the flour with the seasoning in it, and then I'll add some more to have enough to make my roux here. The rule of thumb, I've told y'all before, is equal oil and flour, but I didn't measure, so I'm just going to eyeball it. When it gets the thickness that I want it to be, then that'll be the right amount. Because I know I didn't get enough to make gravy too. And I'll taste it in a minute when I get gravy made and see if I need to add salt. I don't want it too salty. Okay, it's just about brown enough. I'm just going to add some water, and then I'll add some more. I don't want it too thin. But it will thicken a little bit as it's cooking, because the flour that's on the beef tips is going to help thicken it a little bit too. Okay, I'm going to ease over here and get me a spoon so I can taste it. Yeah, it's got to have some salt in it. I have to blow it because it's hot and I don't want to burn all the feathers off my tongue. That's just about right. I'm going to get the gravy poured in with the meat. I'm going to bring you back and cut up my bell peppers and onions and put in it, and we'll get it in the oven. Okay, I'm fixing to cut my onion up. I peeled it right quick. And I'm just going to cut it in little slices. I'm going to cry, y'all. Tell me a sad story so it'll be justified. I'm going to go ahead and stick my onion in. And then I'm going to put me a few pieces of bell pepper. I grew these bell peppers, by the way, because I had to pick them because of the weather. And that may be enough bell pepper. I'm just going to, y'all can't see me, I don't think, but I'm going to stir my gravy around. And maybe I'll put this other little pepper in there too. And I'm going to get my garlic, my chopped garlic that I buy in the jar from Costco. Oh Lord, I've got garlic everywhere. I dropped it and the lid popped off and it shot garlic all over the kitchen. That is not pretty. I'm just going to stir some up in there. Y'all, I got a mess and I hate to waste that garlic. Worse than I hate the cleanup, I hate the waste. I was trying to reach in there behind the camera without having to turn the camera off. Okay, I've got everything in here. I'm going to put my lid on it and get it in the oven. Clean up garlic, and I'll be back in a little bit with some beef tips. The oven buzzer went off. I'm going to get the dish out and we'll see if they're tender. If not, we'll put them back in there for a little bit. But I imagine they are. I can't hardly wait. I've been wanting beef tips for several days now. That's hot. Let me get a fork over here. Well, they're not falling apart. They might not fall apart. Oh, but they're tender. They're tender. I think I'm going to put them back in there for just a few more minutes because I'm used to them being very, very tender. Let me cut that one. I'm going to let it cool and taste of it, but I may want to put them back in there. Let me just blow on it a little bit and see. I got all that garlic cleaned up. I can't smell, y'all know that. I bet it smells like an Italian restaurant in here, and that would be a good smell to me. But I can't smell it, so it doesn't bother me. If it bothers somebody that comes, well, oh well. But it just sprayed across the floor and up on the cabinets over there, and I wasted probably a 3/4 of a cup of my minced garlic. That wasn't good. I see some people cook and they just taste that hot stuff. I don't see how they do it. It makes me want to dance a jig. I'm just too old to dance a jig. Maybe it's because I cut it from a steak. It's tender and done. So I think I'm just going to go in and eat them just like that. I will bring y'all back in a little bit when I get my rice and my beef tips on a plate and show y'all what it looks like. Okay, y'all, I cooked it another 30 minutes. And they are just the right amount of tender that I wanted. So I'm going to plate some up and show you. and it's very hot, but I am going to cool it a little bit and then I'm going to taste it. I got my little, I don't know what else to call it except a beach wagon, those that'll fold up. Pulled it out to the wood rack and got me a wagon load of wood and got it in there ready to finish burning the rest of the day because it's still like not even 40 degrees outside. Thankful that I'm able to do that. Just what I was wanting. Oh my goodness, that's so good. I don't even need any sides with it. You could do corn, you could do green beans, you could do turnip greens, all kinds of stuff. Broccoli, asparagus, carrots, salad, coleslaw. All I want is beef tips and rice. So I'm fixing to sit down and have lunch. And I don't have a recipe card. Y'all just have to watch and see what I did. And I told you I generally get a chuck roast and cut it into pieces. It's a lot cheaper to buy a roast and cut it yourself than it is to buy stew meat per pound. So anyway, this time I used a sirloin steak and it was prime, so it was a good cut of meat. And our HEB puts prime steak on sale pretty regularly. But this was from several years ago. But anyway, I'm going to go and have my lunch. I already got my tea made. And I'll try to be back again in a day or two. See, I'm trying to do better. The good Lord bless y'all. Stay warm. Stock your pantry. And be ready for another video.